Good morning, everybody. So I just got back from a walk with Dex. What is it, Dex? What is it? What's got you so spooked? It's hay bales. Oh no. Come on, bud. And I figured, you know what? This would be a great time to make this video. I have now started taking Retatrutide, and this is exactly 1 week in. So I wanted to make a quick video for anybody that was interested in following along on why I decided to take the medication, my dosage, and my experiences on the first week. So to start it off, obviously I'm a bigger guy, and I've struggled with my weight for the last 15 years. And I've had several diets where I've lost 50 plus pounds, and I've had varying degrees of successes with maintaining it. I was doing really good before COVID, and then, oh man, that first quarter with COVID where I didn't have to go to work anymore and all we were eating was junk food with the kids, it did me in. So I've been able to, lose the weight quite a few times, never managed to keep it off for long. And last year I had ankle surgery, gained about 30 pounds, and it's put me back over the 300-pound mark, which is something I said I was never going to do. And unfortunately I failed.
I'm so sorry. I failed you. You trusted me. And I failed you.
I've been struggling to get under 300 pounds for the last 2 months. But that's not the main reason that I started taking this. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis back in 2018. So those of you who don't know, rheumatoid arthritis, which I'll probably refer to as RA, it's an autoimmune disease where your immune system thinks that your joints are the enemy.
Are we the baddies?
And so it can flare up, and when it does, it'll attack one or more joints. I'm very lucky that typically mine only attacks one joint at a time, but when it is flared up, you cannot do anything. The pain is excruciating, and like when it's in my hand, I can't even pick up a can of pop. And I mean, I guess that would be a good thing in some cases, but I do compete in amateur strongman, and the last 2 years I've had it where leading up to a strongman competition, I'm always getting flare-ups, and I have to go to the emergency clinic because I can't get into the rheumatologist because they're scheduled out a year, and they have to give me a steroid shot, put me on prednisone, give me an anti-inflammatory shot. The prednisone makes my heart rate go up like 30 beats per minute. I can't sleep, and it just wrecks my system, and it's not healthy to keep doing this. But I can't go compete when I can't use joints. The only joint in my entire body that can be flared up and I'm okay to compete is my jaw, because then I just can't talk and eat, which of course is my wife's favorite type of flare up.
True story.
But I've been looking at the GLP-1s, and one of the things that they're finding is that it reduces inflammation through your entire body very successfully. The weight loss, of course, helps your joints, but people that do have autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, they're finding that they're having less flare-ups, and the flare-ups are less severe. So I've been kind of watching this, and with the rheumatoid arthritis medication, first of all, you have to get into a rheumatologist. Mine just retired. I asked him to refer me to somebody else before he left. Apparently he didn't. I'm trying to go through my doctor to get a referral to a new place because I can't just go to a rheumatologist, and they're scheduled a year out. Every medication that I've tried on rheumatoid arthritis, I've had bad side effects. Luckily not the severe ones, but with that type of medication, when you take it, it's suppressing your immune system. So like you have to get all of your vaccinations because the flu could kill you because your immune system's suppressed. So that's not good. But we're talking about things like it can cause cancer, it can cause heart disease, liver failure, all those terrible things. When you watch the previews for medication on TV, it's like, this medication could do all these terrible things. And you're like, this is just to treat a cold? Why would I take that? Why would I do that to myself? But with the GLP-1s, it reduces systemic inflammation, which if you have RA, you have systemic inflammation. So even when you're not having an active flare-up, you have inflammation. So my hands, they always feel swollen and stiff. They don't hurt, but they don't move like they used to. Like I used to be able to play guitar. I can't do that anymore. My finger dexterity is just not what it used to. Even typing on a keyboard, it's slower, and sometimes my fingers don't quite move as dexterous as they used to be. So it can take 10 to 15 years off of your life because the inflammation's inside your heart, your internal organs. It's not good. So when you see all this research coming out on all this research coming out on GLP-1s and how they reduce this inflammation, that's great news for me. And the side effects are way less severe. There's some rumors of some bad side effects like blindness and that kind of stuff, but it's like specific people. And, I don't have any of those pre-existing conditions. But, gastrointestinal issues to potentially reduce all of my inflammation and lose weight, sign me up. So I reached out to my doctor a couple months back about getting on Trizepatide. So the semaglutide is the first round, Trizepatide is the second one, Retatrutide is the third round. Trizepatide and semaglutide are both approved by the FDA. Retatrutide is still in trials. And one of the Trizepatides, I believe it's called Zepbound, is approved to treat sleep apnea, which I have. So I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And he's like, I think it's great. I think you should be on it. We reach out. My insurance absolutely will not cover it. It's like, but it's approved for this. Nope, we don't do it. Okay. So I have to get it from a third party source. I'm going to have to pay out of pocket. So I started doing more research. And at this point, because I have to do it third party, I have to use a research peptide. So again, I don't recommend anybody else do this. I'm not a doctor. But if you do decide to do something like what I'm doing, make sure you try and find a good source, because you have no idea what people put in this. So this is experimental. This is a risk. But the studies for Retatrutide are showing that it has a lot less muscle wasting than the first two generations because of the glucagon. And I figured, you know what, if I'm paying for this out of pocket and I have to get it from this third party site, I might as well go with the one that's going to spare muscle, because I fully intend to keep competing in amateur strongman as long as I can. Of course, now it's master strongman because I'm 41. And I injected myself Wednesday morning. Now, the traditional advice that I have read is that you should take it in the evening so you don't get side effects. But with this type of GLP-1 with the third agonist, the glucagon, it can cause heart rate issues. And I wanted to be awake, right? So before I started it, I got myself a watch to monitor my heart rate, set myself a baseline so that I can see, what happens when I take it. The trials are starting between 2.5 milligrams and 4 milligrams a week. I didn't want to risk that, because the higher the dosage, the higher side effects. I've had side effects with everything else I've ever taken, so I knew I was going to get side effects. So I was debating between 0.5 milligrams and 1 milligram. I decided on 1 milligram. And I took it in the morning, and I regretted it, because I went for a walk. So I took it about 6:30, went for an hour walk with Dex. We came back, and about 45 minutes later, I started getting nauseous, and my stomach was just upset. And all I had was a protein shake at that point. So I didn't have a lot of food, so I wasn't feeling like I was going to throw up. It was that feeling. And luckily I had some freeze pops left over from the summer party that we had. So I had that helped. Unfortunately, it only lasted about an hour. And I didn't want to keep having that sugar all day. That's not really good for inflammation or a diet. So then I tried a lemon. That helped a little bit, but not too bad. Now, I did notice I wasn't hungry all day. Now, for me, it's kind of... So I'm always thinking about food, and I'm always hungry, but I don't get, very hungry, because I eat frequent enough, and I eat a very high protein diet. But, I didn't really want to eat. One of the things that I've read a lot about is it can make it so you can't handle large meals. For me, every lunch, I have 16 ounces of chicken and a half cup of rice, and then an orange, and then I have my one bad treat a day, which is a bottle of cherry Coke, one of the 16.9 ounces of cherry Coke. And I know Coke is not good for me. No pop is good for me, but that's down from 6 liters a day, which I used to do in the past. And it's like I said, my one treat. And I don't drink coffee, so it's also my source of caffeine that kind of gets me through the afternoon. I was able to eat it fine, no problems. But I was not able to finish the pop. As soon as I started sipping it, because I like to sip it after I'm done eating, so I do water with the meal, and then I just kind of sip it from 12:30 till about 2:30, kind of making it last through that afternoon. It was causing me to get nauseous again, and that's a potential side effect. I'm like, cool, maybe this will help me stop drinking pop. And I was nauseous throughout the day, in and out. And every time I ate something, it started to go away, and then it would come back. I decided to go work out that night, and I don't know if it was the heat or being nauseous or the combination of the two. But every time I did a set, I felt like I was going to throw up, and I started overheating. So my wife brought me some ice packs. I was putting an ice pack on my head, on my neck, and on my stomach in between every single set. And it was rough. I had the fan on, and just trying to get through the workout was very tough. Then I ate dinner, and about 7:30 at night, so this is now a little bit past 12 hours, the nausea went away. And something weird happened, and the best way that I can describe it is I started thinking in high definition. And I didn't realize this before. So apparently I've had brain fog, which is not good because that probably means I have some sort of blood sugar issue. But my when I think with images in my head, they're always kind of a little blurry. It's hard to hold on to them for very long. They kind of shift, and all of a sudden, like, it was just, I could just think in my head, and it was so crystal clear. And I was like, wow, this is weird. And then it started being with just my regular eyesight too. I'm like, man, everything is just so vibrant and so alive. This is insane. I loved it. So I went to bed, had no issues sleeping whatsoever. Woke up Thursday morning, no issues. So I wasn't hungry, ate my normal meals Thursday. Now, we did decide to go see the Odyssey that night. I was able to drink my whole pop, so I didn't have a pop in lunch, so I got a pop at the movies. But I did not enjoy the popcorn. I was just like, this doesn't feel good. But I drank the whole pop. Didn't have any nausea. Saturday, normal. Now, we've had a lot of smoke come in from the fires out in Ontario, so the air quality's been terrible. So I've been trying to avoid going outside, which means I can't work out because I have a pole barn gym, and I didn't work out. Sunday was when I got this new feeling I've never felt before.
What is this feeling so sudden and new?
And apparently it's called being full. So we went to Big Boy, and just kind of like what I used to do at Big Boy is if I have one plate, it's got 3 sausage, ham, and then a ridiculous amount of bacon, probably 15 pieces, which I know is not good for me. That's kind of what I do. First plate. My second plate is half the plate is eggs, half the plate is hash browns. My third plate is 2 pancakes, 2 pieces of French toast, and one of the sticks, I don't know what they're called, with a lot of syrup, a little bit of butter. And my daughter showed me whipped cream on pancakes, which I wish she wouldn't have, because now I put some whipped cream on the pancakes. Then I have a blueberry muffin. Then I have a fourth plate, which is like 6-ish pieces of bacon. And then I have, I let my daughter on the weekend when we go to Big Boy, which is not very frequently, she gets a chocolate shake. And so she gets the cup, and then they give you this metal cup, which has like another half. And then I drink that. During my third plate, which is still too much, I had this new feeling. And I was like, what is this? I don't feel like eating anymore. And I've been ingrained since I was a little kid. If it's on your plate, you better finish it. There are starving children in Africa. You are not leaving this table till you are done eating. So that's just ingrained. So I started for it, and I was like, I'm not enjoying this. And then, I had that little blueberry muffin, it was about this big. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to eat this. My wife said, don't. I said, well, I got it. I can't let it go to waste. So I ate it. I was like, oh, I don't like this. And then I was done. And so I've eaten many, many times, especially at buffets, to the point my stomach hurts. But I've always joked, like, I have this secondary stomach that's just for ice cream, right? Like, that I would have the ice cream. And if somebody, even after I probably ate like 6 plates, they're like, you want to go for ice cream? I'm like, yeah, let's go. And I would eat it, and I would suffer from the pain, but I was still thinking about food. I still wanted more. I didn't want anything. My daughter gave me the little cup. I'm like, nope, I don't want it. My wife said, are you feeling it? I'm like, I don't know what this is. I think I feel full.
Who are you?
And they started laughing at me, and we left Big Boy, and there was a half a chocolate shake left because my daughter couldn't finish it, and my son didn't want it. My wife didn't want it. And I'm just like, nope. And then I was feeling like that for 3 hours. It was 3 hours before I even thought about food. That is ludicrous. Like, that just doesn't happen. So that was Sunday. Monday, we did work out, did deadlifts and a bunch of lower body, no issues whatsoever. I've been feeling that mental clarity still, and the energy's been fine. No real difference. no nausea after the first day. Now Tuesday, which was yesterday, I did have the hunger come back a little bit. So about 9:30, I started getting hungry, and so that's kind of like the mild hungry. So this dosage, it's taking the edge off where like I'm not really feeling that, but I still want food. Like if I'm watching a show, I still have the desire and snack and stuff. So it hasn't solved that, but I felt Tuesday, now that we're past the 5 days and it's starting to go on its downward descent, leaving the system. I'm like, okay, all right, I feel this. This is a little bit different. I had some. I made an almond, walnut, and pistachio mix, and so I had 2 teaspoons of that, and that took away the edge till lunchtime. So today is Wednesday. I'm going to have my second injection. I'm waiting till the nighttime. I've learned my lesson. It is not fun to work with nausea. It's not worth it. I'm not going to do it again. So the plan is I'm going to do 4 weeks at 1 milligram, see how it goes. Oh, weight loss. I know everybody cares about that. So I started at 296.8. I got a new scale that's one of those 8-point scales. Now I got the cheap version. I can't afford like a $300 scale. That's ridiculous. And I know they're not super accurate, but I just thought, hey, this would be fun to play with. So it has me at like 38.9% body fat, and it called me chicken legs. I couldn't believe this. I'm like looking at it, it's like your upper body muscle high, yeah. Your core muscles high, yeah. Leg muscles low. What? Scale says I got chicken legs. So leg press is coming back, guys. We gotta get rid of that. That's not acceptable. But it did slow down the digestion. So I didn't have my morning trips to the bathroom, if you know what I mean, for 2 days. And so my weight went up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's crazy because like I went to Big Boy and stuff, and my weight didn't go up. So it stopping me from wanting to keep eating throughout the day and binging obviously worked, and that's a huge win. And then Sunday evening is when everything started going pretty well. I had a little bit Saturday, and I'm sorry if this is gross, but I just want to share all the stuff. Sunday I kind of returned to normal. Monday, Tuesday, everything's back to normal, and my weight went back down. And saw Motor City last night because Tuesday is cheap movie night, and obviously if you haven't picked up by now, my hobby other than lifting is going to see movies. So I do that, try to go every Tuesday unless the movies are just terrible. So even some movies that are kind of questionable, I still like to go see. So the plan for me is to do that 1 milligram for 4 weeks. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. And then after a month, I'm going to wait till after my next strongman competition. I'm going to go up to 2 milligrams a week, and I'm going to stay on that dose until after my competition at the end of September. That's a serious competition for me, and I just want to see how 2 milligram feels. That might be enough to stop the inflammation. So on the rheumatoid arthritis side, a couple of things have happened, which are just amazing. So my hands, I'm unable to take any sort of anti-inflammatories now. They put me on meloxicam, which is a very powerful one that you take 1 a day, and it started causing edema. And that was dangerous. It could be affecting my heart. So they had me stop taking that. They tried a different one. That also caused edema. And then, they had me just try regular ibuprofen. Even that causes edema now. So my legs swell up pretty bad. It's pitting, like you push your skin and it just stays indented. So a lot of fluid retention, not good for your heart. And I've been struggling. It's still in my left leg. I'm going to go get that checked out. But my doctor gave me a water pill, and that was flushing me out. I stopped taking the water pill before I started taking the Retatrutide because one of the things it can do is flush a lot of water out of your system. It does affect how your kidneys function. There's some issues that you could have with dehydration. So there was absolutely no chance I was going to risk having the water pill and this. It worked better at getting that water out of my legs. My leg is drier than it was on the water pills by far. Like to the point I can see some bumps on my shin where the bone's a little bit rough from my childhood days. And my hands are less swollen and I can move them better. They're still a little stiff. I would say it's about 50% of what I was getting with meloxicam. When I was on meloxicam, my hands felt wonderful. Like, so that's one of the biggest regrets I have from not being able to continue that medication, because my hands went back to being stiff. Like, I was able to move my hands, play guitar, and now it's just like, nope, can't. So now feeling pretty good. My hands are feeling good. The last day and a half, I have noticed that it's starting to come back a little bit, because of the dosage, but because it has a 5-day half-life, the second dose is going to add on. There's going to be overlap between the two doses, so you don't want to rush it too quickly and risk feeling really terrible, and the anti-inflammatory effects should add up. Now, I did not have a flare-up this week, obviously, but 2 weeks ago, before the competition, I had that shot, and I took this steroid. So we'll see how that plays out. My plan is to do an update after 1 month, and then I will do monthly updates thereafter for anybody that's interested in following along. If you have any questions or want any additional information, let me know. If something crazy happens on week 2, I will make an update video. But the plan's to keep competing, and if this works, I could end up staying on a low dose GLP-1 for a long time. Now, it would not be Retatrutide once the weight is gone, because I don't really see a whole lot of reason to pay the extra for the glucagon if you're not overweight. So if I do lose the weight, get to a healthy and better, more competitive division in strongman, then I'm going to look at switching to probably Trizepatide, and switch to that and go on a low dose, because if it works for rheumatoid arthritis and it helps me lose weight, then this is the drug I've been waiting for.
Shut up and take my money!
So that's it for this video. Go with something heavy.